Thank you for visiting our channel. Please like, share and subscribe for more exciting food videos. A drink that begins simply, espresso and milk, yet carries within it centuries of history, layers of craft, and a universal appeal that crosses borders and cultures. It is both humble and refined, a companion to early mornings, long afternoons and quiet conversations. It is warmth in a cup, and comfort you can hold in your hands. The story of the latte begins long before the word itself was ever spoken. It begins with coffee, an ancient beverage with roots deep in the soil of Ethiopia. Legend tells us of Koldi, a young goat herder, who noticed his animals behaving strangely, leaping and dancing after eating the bright red berries of a certain plant. Curious, he tasted them himself and felt a new energy awaken within him. Word of this strange and invigorating fruit spread, and soon it found its way to monks, who used it to stay awake during long hours of prayer. From Ethiopia, coffee traveled across the Red Sea to Yemen. There, it was cultivated and traded. The Yemenis perfected the art of roasting, grinding, and brewing, and from their ports, coffee spread along trade routes to Egypt, Persia, and the Ottoman Empire. In the coffee houses of the Middle East, people gathered to drink, to talk, to play music, and to share news. Coffee was no longer just a drink, it was a reason for people to come together. When coffee reached Europe in the 17th century, it met with curiosity and sometimes suspicion. But once its taste and effects were understood, it quickly became a morning staple. It was here, in Europe, that milk entered the picture more consistently. In Vienna, after battles with the Ottoman Empire, sacks of coffee were left behind. The Viennese experimented with the drink, adding milk and sugar to soften the bold, bitter taste, creating something smoother, gentler. In France, the café au lait, coffee with hot milk, became a breakfast ritual, served alongside fresh bread or pastries. In Germany, Milchkaffee appeared, offering a similar comfort. Even in England, coffee often arrived with milk, though tea still reigned supreme. By the time coffee culture settled in Italy, milk was a familiar companion. But the Italians, with their flair for refinement, brought a new approach. In the late 1800s, the espresso machine was invented, an innovation that would change coffee forever. This machine allowed water to be forced through finely ground coffee under high pressure, producing a concentrated, rich, aromatic liquid in mere seconds. Espresso was born, intense, full-bodied, and layered with flavor. But for some, it was too strong to drink on its own. Milk once again stepped in, balancing the espresso's power with its own creamy softness. The term Café Latte in Italian simply means coffee with milk. At home, Italians would often make it using a moka pot, filling the cup with strong coffee and topping it with hot milk. In cafes, especially those catering to tourists, the drink evolved into what we now recognize, a shot of espresso, 2 parts steamed milk, and a thin cap of velvety microfoam. Tourists embraced it. The idea traveled. And soon, the café latte found itself in coffee shops far from its birthplace. In the United States, the latte grew larger. Cups expanded, flavors multiplied. Vanilla, caramel, hazelnut, syrups transformed the drink into endless variations. In the 1980s and 1990s, as coffeehouse culture spread, the latte became not just a beverage but a lifestyle symbol. Sitting with a latte became shorthand for taking time to pause, to work, to meet friends, or simply to watch the world go by. Yet making a latte is far more than simply mixing coffee and milk. It begins with the espresso, coffee ground fine, tamped evenly, and brewed under the right pressure and temperature. The water must be hot, but not boiling, ideally between 90 and 96 degrees Celsius. The extraction must take time, around 25 to 30 seconds, to draw out the flavors without bitterness. When done right, the espresso is complex, with aromas of chocolate, nuts, fruit, or flowers, depending on the bean and roast. Then comes the milk. Steaming milk is an art in itself. It is not about creating large, frothy bubbles, but about crafting a texture so smooth that it feels like liquid silk. The process is called stretching and texturing, introducing just enough air to create microfoam, then folding it back into the milk as it heats. As the milk warms, its natural sugars become more noticeable, giving it a subtle sweetness that blends perfectly with espresso's depth. The ideal temperature is between 60 and 70 degrees Celsius, hot enough to warm, but not so hot as to scald and lose its sweetness. When the milk is ready, the pour begins. This is where skill and style meet. The milk is not dumped into the espresso, it is guided, allowed to flow in a thin stream that first blends, then decorates. The barista tilts the cup, controls the flow, and lets patterns emerge on the surface. A heart. A rosetta. A tulip. Latte art lasts only moments before the first sip, but it says something important. This drink was made with attention, with care, with pride. Across the world, the latte has taken on new forms. In Australia and New Zealand, the flat white offers a stronger coffee flavor and less foam. In France, the café au lait still holds a place on breakfast tables. In Japan, lattes may come with green matcha powder instead of coffee. In South Korea, cafes are known for creative presentations, pairing lattes with intricate desserts. And everywhere, plant-based versions have gained popularity: oat milk, almond milk, soy milk, each adding its own texture and taste. But beyond its variations, the latte has something universal. It is an experience. The hiss of the steam wand. The aroma rising from the cup. The first sip, when the bold espresso and creamy milk meet on the tongue. The warmth in your hands as you hold the cup. The pause in the day, the moment to breathe, to taste, to be present. It can be the quiet start to a morning, or the gentle close to an evening. It can be shared with friends or savored alone. It can be sipped while reading, writing, or simply watching people pass by a cafe window. It can mark the beginning of a workday or the reward after it's done. And while trends may come and go, the café latte remains. It has adapted to new tastes, embraced new ingredients, and traveled further than its Italian origins could have imagined. Yet at its core, it is still the same: espresso, milk, and the human touch that brings them together. Each cup tells a story. A story that begins with the farmer who grew the coffee, who watched the plants flower and fruit. A story that passes through the roaster's hands, unlocking the bean's potential. A story shaped by the barista who grinds, brews, steams, and pours. And finally, a story that becomes yours the moment you lift the cup and take that first sip. A café latte is more than a drink. It is a connection between people, between cultures, between moments in time. It is both ancient and modern, simple and complex. And perhaps that is why it has endured, why it continues to comfort, to inspire, to bring people together. So the next time you hold a latte, let it be more than habit. Let it be a moment you notice. Feel the warmth, breathe in the aroma, watch the pattern on the foam. Taste the balance of coffee and milk, the bold and the gentle, the past and the present. You are part of a tradition that stretches back centuries, and with every sip, you carry it forward. One cup at a time. From the aroma of freshly brewed espresso to the warmth of steamed milk, every sip of a café latte is an invitation to slow down and enjoy the moment. Stay tuned for part 2. Thank you for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe.